personally think 75% of any given track is cull. You got that 25% that you want to concentrate on. You just got to figure it out.
Those when you very first started deer hunting and you were trying to go and find the deer and you didn't understand the feed trees and stuff like you did now, do you remember some of those early just kind of knuckleheaded things that you maybe did and had to overcome?
No, no, I don't. That's a long time ago, Andrew. A long time ago. Like I said, just spent a lot of time in the woods. I would do it during the summertime. I would. Deer hunting was on my mind all the time. I can't lie. I'm not as interested in it as I once was. That's for sure. I've been there and done that hundreds of times. But I would get topo maps of the areas I hunted in national forest land and wildlife management areas, big places. And I would study that topo during the week, and I was looking for certain things. And then on Saturday, I would actually drive up there and bail off in there to go check it. And I wasn't looking for sign in the middle of summer. I was looking for potential places for them. I'm looking for oak trees. I'm looking for flow areas. Just anything I could find that would open mind that'll work. And then once the hunting season starts, I've got a lot of ground I've culled. I'm not interested as much in what I found to hunt as I am knowing what not to hunt. And it's just a way of doing it. That's what I did. I worked at it like that.
Mm-hmm. What pieces of advice do you have for people, and maybe, of course, to us as well, of how to cull areas? Again, like X areas off that aren't worth your time.
I personally think 75% of any given track is cull. You got that 25% that you want to concentrate on. You just got to figure it out.
It comes with walking the place, right?
Yep, wear them boots out.
Yep. And that's a common factor of a lot of the woodsmen that we talk to, which obviously you're one of them. And it just comes from time in the woods. Like there's just no other... There's no substitute. You have to go out there and spend a lot of time in the woods to develop that, right?
And you gotta look for stuff. You just can't just walk around. My son, he was turkey hunting with me one time, and I kept pointing out stuff that I was seeing, and he was walking with his head down, looking where he was walking. And I said, well, I'm looking. I said, I memorized the ground to the next obstacle I got to worry about. And I'm looking the whole time I'm walking, and I said, well, I'll be getting close to that limb, a log or something, and I see it, and I step over it, and then I scan the next whatever feet till another obstacle, and I'm looking all the time. I was pointing out this to him and that to him, and he said, how you seeing all that? I said, well, look, just don't watch your feet when you walk and everything. So that was a little lesson for him.
Back to the cull area, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but I have found a spot that is like what you're talking about, that little 25% of an area I've never been to. I've hunted around there, never found a lot of early season sign, and we happened to go in there when we were scouting and found the spot. Tons of buck sign, feed sign, trees starting to drop. It was really interesting that you brought that up, and that's a really interesting point, I think, for listeners as well and the viewers out there. It takes boots on the ground, and for you to have the we said tenacity on the podcast quite a bit in the past, but you had to have the focus to stay out there and keep walking, and always have that thought process of let me go check that spot, and not just turn back to the truck if you still have daylight to look, because you never know when you might find that one area where you'll walk through an area, very little deer sign, and then you get to that pocket that all those deer want to spend their time in, especially around some of the feed trees of those flow areas.
Yeah, and like I said, they're continually changing. Hunting in October is just totally different from hunting in November, and December is totally different from November, and December is different from November, and January is different. Everything starts shutting down in January. I find it really hard.
And one thing you mentioned earlier on in this interview, but also we were talking about this earlier today, about stringing hunts together in order to have success. And we've had some listeners write in some Q&A questions in the past about that same question, whether they should take off, if they only have a week to take off during hunting season and they're just hunting the weekends already, should they take off, 3 or 4 Fridays in a row and have a couple long weekends back to back, or should they just do 1 week? Can you talk a little bit more about stringing hunts together and the value of staying in the woods and learning an area throughout 1 week to figure out how to hunt?
Definitely. It's just all the attention you give to it. It just works. You got to put your time in. It's what it takes. Boot leather and rubber boot leather or whatever. You got to put your time in, and it pays off.
How do you walk us through how you would string hunts together in the past, and how you're learning every single day how to if you don't find something day one, how are you working through day two, day three in order to set yourself up for a successful hunt?
Well, I don't hunt like this now, but when I was in my prime and doing the best I could, I would start off, say I was going to hunt Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Or I'd get up there breaking day on Monday. And I wouldn't worry about taking a stand. I'd walk 2 to 4 hours, and I might find 3 places to hunt. Well, I'm going to pick out the one that's best for the wind. It's best for where I think the deer's coming from. It's just the most sign. And I'm going to hunt it that evening. And then I'm going to go back the next morning and give it a morning shot if I don't do any good. And I'm finished with it. I'm done with it. And then I'm going to go hunt the next best place I thought for the wind and all that. But no, I take that back. I'm going to go scouting after that the second day. I'm going to walk another 2 to 4 hours in a different area trying to find something. And if I find something, I'll hunt it. But I might have found 3 places. I might, instead of making a morning hunt there, I might go make an evening hunt. And then a lot of my scouting is with my stand and climbing method on my back. And I got my field quartering bag, and I had no Alice pack. I used field quartering. Still got it, still use it. And I have it with me and on, and so I got everything I need to do to find a deer, set up on him right, get a shot, kill him, locate him, quarter him out, and pack him out with no outside help. I'm independent from any outside help. If I can do all that by myself, that's my proudest moment. Find something where I never hunted before, do all of that, walking and finding, setting up, and that means a lot right there.
That's interesting, talking about how you're scouting, you're hunting an area, your best area you found that's based off the wind. If it doesn't pay off, you're going back, you're scouting it again, walking, finding the next best area, and then you kind of doing that every single day. And I'll say this about myself, and I'm sure maybe other people can relate. I think there's a point during, like, once season comes in, you almost just want to be in a tree. It's like the scouting aspects. A lot of people, and I've had this happen to me in the past, especially when I was telling you about my old job and how much I had to work in the past when we were having lunch earlier. And if I had to take day off, I was going to try to be in a tree. And, because I might only have one day every 13 days to go hunt. For someone like that, it makes it extremely tough to try to figure out that pattern, because it's changing so quickly, especially as you're getting into the fall, and try to have success. But when you're talking about stringing these hunts together, the biggest thing I'm realizing, having this conversation, us talking earlier, is just how much boots on the ground you're spending out there, and constantly learning as these deer are constantly shifting where you can find them and how to set up on with the hottest sign possible at that moment in time.
Right. And a lot of times by myself, you don't have anybody to meet with or go back and check on or help them do something. You're just totally a solo bow hunter. And I go in the woods all day, pack me a lunch, and I might make a morning hunt, get down and walk 2 or 4 hours, then eat my little sandwich or what that I brought with me, and then go hunt another tree that I knew about, and I stay up there about 2 hours and get down and then go hunt a last light hunt. So I'm traveling, but I'm mobile, and I don't need to go back to the truck for anything. I can just go ahead and hunt and move around like that.